Welcome in, basketball fans. If you love watching grown men put balls in hoops as much as I do, hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss any of our weekly basketball content. We have our NBA Week 8 power rankings. We're going to talk about our poster of the week, our player of the week, and our current top 10 teams through 8 weeks of basketball. And might I add, the Oklahoma City Thunder finally lost another game. God is real. And Victor Wembanyama is absolutely real. You know that, don't you, Oklahoma City Thunder fans? On a minutes restriction, goes out there and gives the whole Oklahoma City Thunder team B-to-A. And when I say B to A, Chet couldn't guard him. Hartenstein couldn't guard him. Caruso couldn't guard him. You can name anyone on that team, and they couldn't stop Wembanyama, who I think is going to blossom into the face of this league. I'm not going to lie. If you've seen any of his interviews, that's what he wants to be. He wants to be the face of this league, and he fully believes, fully dedicated to being the number one player in the NBA. You know what we got to do, ladies and gentlemen? Poster of the week, player of the week, and top 10 teams through 8 weeks of basketball, starting with our poster of the week coming from La King, LaPookie, LeBron James in his ripe age of 40 years old. Watch this again, ladies and gentlemen. He takes it from the 3 line and bangs over Luke Cornett, a massive center for the San Antonio Spurs, who I do want to give a round of applause. Did a very nice job stepping in for Wemby while he was out. But when you go up against the king, the man, the myth, the legend, the GOAT LeBron James with a full head of steam, you're losing 10 times out of 10. And I want to tell y'all one more time, 40 years old, gets the dunk, goes down court, and gets the block coast to coast, ladies and gentlemen. You can hate on LeBron as much as you want. He's better than your favorite player on your favorite team. And ladies and gentlemen, that is LeBron, LaKing, LaPookie James with our poster of the week. Heading into our player of the week, we have Stephon Castle, who went out there against the Pelicans, against the Lakers, against the Oklahoma City Thunder, and gave all 3 of those teams absolute B-to-A, 26 points, 7 rebounds, 4.3 assists over 3 games. And that's against 2 major tyrants in the NBA right now, and to put up, I think it was 22 against the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Thunder who had absolutely no answer for this Spurs team. I won't say they had no answer. It was a really amazing game. It was close the whole game, but something about the Spurs outpacing the Oklahoma City Thunder, and it just looked like they were a whole step ahead of them the whole game. And it's because of guys like Vassell. It's because of guys like Harper. It's because of guys like Castle. They relentlessly attack the hoop over and over and over and over again. So, Stephon Castle, you are our NBA player of the week. Now we're going to get into our top 10 teams through 8 weeks of basketball. Ladies and gentlemen, starting at our number 10 spot, the Boston Celtics. They did drop from the number 5. Last week, they went an immaculate 4-0. This week, they really drop a stinker to the Bucks, who have no Giannis Antetokounmpo. That is going to be the problem with this team this year. How consistent can the Boston Celtics stay, especially if you go out there and Jaylen Brown's not doing amazing? How much can your bench step up? Guys like Peyton Pritchard step up and insert themselves into major roles on this team and keep dominating to go out there and potentially get a playoff berth. And I think they're going to make playoffs. Don't get me wrong. I think they could honestly win the conference. Do they bring back Jason Tatum? I don't know. I don't think it's the right decision to do. Apparently, he's trending upward to come back this year. I think it's an awful idea. But could you imagine the Celtics go out there, somehow win the conference without JT, and they bring him back around playoffs? I don't know if that's going to hurt the defense, or I don't know if that's going to hurt the Boston Celtics and how they look on offense and defense. I don't know at what point do you bring him back and you say, this is going to be good for the team. We're at this point, towards the last stretch into the playoffs. When do you bring him back so we can start building that consistency, start building that rapport? Because honestly, this is a whole new look team than what Jason Tatum has seen from last year and the year before. So there's going to be meshing. There's going to be a lot of stuff JT would have to work on if he comes back early. Boston Celtics at number 10. At number 9, the Houston Rockets. They did get a win over the Clippers this week. I will say it is the Clippers, and they really weren't shooting great as a team. The three ball wasn't there. Şengün went out there and he did insert his dominance in the paint, 22 points, 15 boards. He didn't shoot amazing. I think he shot below 50%. But like I say week in and week out, Alperen Şengün, or however the heck you say his name, is going to be, and it's really crazy to say this, the next Nikola Jokic. I don't know if he's going to be able to get to that level, but I think the sky is the limit for this young man. And I think, again, I'll say it, having Kevin Durant on your team is going to do nothing but help propel him into that role. But this guy is the future of the Houston Rockets. I hope they build around him great. They've already got some solid pieces here and there. Amin Thompson has to get a little bit more consistent. Jabari has to get a little bit more consistent. I really think they need to go out, maybe sign Chris Paul. I don't know if that's something they would do. I think they could benefit a lot from having a Chris Paul in the locker room, teaching these young guys how to really facilitate the ball, get it to the hot hand. I think, honestly, there are a lot of teams in this league that could, we're going to go on a Chris Paul rant, that could have a lot of help with Chris Paul in that locker room. So at number 9, we have the Houston Rockets. At number 8, the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, the Timberwolves do go out there. They lose to the Suns. They beat the Warriors and the Kings. And the funny thing about that Warriors and Kings game, no Anthony Edwards. So that is honestly, to me, a good sign for a team. Your star players out. You can still go out there and pop the Golden State Warriors. You can still, yeah, it's the Kings. They're missing people too. Still an NBA basketball team. You're still missing your best player on the court, and you still go out there and pop a bunch of other grown men. So that is a massively good look for this team. It's showing your bench guys are standing up. Your depth guys are standing up. The guys in your starting rotation are starting to step into their role and take on bigger spots when your big, obviously, the guy, Anthony Edwards, does everything on every side. Well, I won't say every side of the ball. The defense it's okay. It's there sometimes. But no Ant-Man, no problem. And I think there's going to be a lot of good coming for this team. They do jump up from number 10 to our number 8 spot. At number 7, the Magic, a team that keep jumping on and off this list for me over the last few weeks. They go out there and they beat a really good Heat team, which I think the Heat could be a top 10 team. They're just a little inconsistent for me, I guess, as the Magic are. But they go out there, they beat a physical Heat team. They dominate them on all sides of the ball. And then you look and they go out there and they lose to, I want to say, the Knicks. They go out there and they lose to the Knicks. The Knicks are not a joke, ladies and gentlemen. The way they play basketball is really reminiscent of how the Spurs play basketball, and we'll get into that here in a little bit. I do want to throw out, for some reason, I guess I thought Paolo Banchero, however you say his name, was the size of a guard. I'm sitting here, I'm watching the Knicks Spurs game, or the Knicks and Magic game, and I'm like, who the hell is that down there in the paint on a free throw, like getting ready to grab the ball? And I was like, is that Banchero? I don't know why I thought he was so much smaller than he actually is. This dude is absolutely massive. I think the Magic are going to be okay. Hopefully they can get fully healthy. They're pretty banged up. I think Suggs got banged up against the, against the Knicks. I think there were a few guys they had get banged up. So hopefully they can get back healthy and keep progressing in our top 10 teams. At number 6, my Los Angeles Lakers. If you are a Lakers fan, please, right now, say a prayer with me, because I don't know what is going on. The way we lost to the Spurs absolutely exposed us, and it made me sick to my stomach. We look so slow on both sides of the ball. This team feels lost when they're out there on the court sometimes, and Luka is playing absolutely abysmal. We are going to chalk it up to his child was born 3 days ago. There's a lot you go through. Flew to Slovenia, watched the birth of his child, flew back, played this game, a lot on his mind, shooting like 30% or below from the three, something crazy. He hasn't had a really great three ball this year, but he was turning the ball over a lot more. Just Luka has not had a good last 2 weeks of basketball. I think we're going to be okay, but the 5 teams above us, I think, are just better basketball teams right now. When you got a 41-year-old LeBron, LeKing, LePookie James on your team, I think we're going to be okay. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think we might still potentially go to the finals. At number 5, we have the Denver Nuggets, who were number 4 on our list last week. But like us, I mean, it's going to sound like a broken record week in and week out. They do get a win over the Kings. The only game they played this week, like I said, short week, Emirates Cup, not a lot of teams playing. Joker is a dog. You got Jamal Murray finally finding his flow again. Aaron Gordon looks like a dog, and everyone is falling in line. I do feel like they need maybe one more piece. And even I said this last year, the Nuggets are a team I can see going out there. They did it, taking OKC to 7. I think if they're not as banged up as they are in OKC in that 7-game series, remember Gordon was playing with basically a torn hamstring. Michael Porter Jr. couldn't put his hands up over his head. Jamal Murray wasn't looking amazing. Jokic had played 47 minutes every game the entire series. They were battered, beat up. They were tired. Going against a deep OKC team, I think if the Nuggets get one more piece, there's an opportunity to go and do it this year and beat OKC in 7. I want y'all to remember I said this. I think the Nuggets can go out there and beat the Oklahoma City Thunder in 7 in the playoffs. We will revisit this. At number 4, the New York Knicks, another team that's jumping all over my list. They've been at the top, they've been at the bottom, they've been in, they've been out. They were number 6 last week. They're number 4 this week. A massive win over the Magic and the Raptors, propelling them. It was the Magic and the Raptors, propelling them into the Emirates Cup finals, which I think that game is going to be absolutely insane. The Spurs and the Knicks, they really both kind of play the same. And you got big guys that can guard Wemby. You got small guys that can pester Wemby. I think Cat's going to have a pretty solid game. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm so excited. I think that's tomorrow on Tuesday, which thank God, because just bridge the gap in all of these sports, please. But the Spurs and the Knicks are going to be absolutely insane. And with the team really kind of coming full circle, they've been really solid on offense all year, but you get OG back, Hart starting to play better basketball, starting to play better defense, my bad. Your team is really getting defensively sound. It's getting offensively sound. And I think they can pace a team like the Spurs, which is who you're going to have to pace. You could potentially, be seeing them in the finals if you can make it that far. At number 3, we have the Detroit Pistons. Some team has to be good in Detroit, right? Because the Lions aren't doing it for them. Insert their dominance over the Hawks, winning 142 to 115. Not a long week this week. I think the Hawks were their only game. Again, really good on offense, really relentless on the defensive side of the ball. This is a scary team going forward, and I think they surprised a lot of people last year, but I'm really not surprised by what they're doing this year. They were winning a lot. They were losing a lot of close games last year. They've got more experience. They've got more players now that have been in those situations that can make those big shots, and now they're winning the close games this year. So at number 3, the Detroit Pistons. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for this? After 8 weeks of NBA basketball, the Oklahoma City Thunder have fell to number 2 on our list. Can I get a round of applause? They finally lost another game. They're not inevitable, chat. They're not inevitable. They looked, I won't say lost against the San Antonio Spurs. It was just a mismatch. What the Spurs did was go out there, attack the rack over and over and over and over again. And dear Lord, get the Spurs head coach a Coach of the Year award. The way he didn't start Wemby and he kind of rotated him in. He let the offense go fast. He let him go out there, start tiring people out. Then you put Wemby in. You let Wemby get to his spots. You let Wemby start to go to work. And it was just beautiful. It was magical. It was amazing seeing the Spurs go out there and pop the Oklahoma City Thunder. I said that night, insert this 7-game series into my veins. I don't even want to watch the finals. I don't even want there to. The finals will be a 7-game series between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the San Antonio Spurs, and whoever wins that's going on to win the finals. I'm absolutely convinced. Can the Spurs beat the Thunder in 7? I don't know. That's going to be interesting. We're going to have to see if Wemby stays healthy, if he becomes full form, if any of these teams make a move for someone. A lot of speculation is the Spurs could make a move for Giannis Antetokounmpo, but do you make a move for Giannis Antetokounmpo if you can keep Wemby healthy? You really are going to kind of mess up the makeup of your team. You're going to have to trade Vassell, Harper, someone along those lines that I don't think you're going to have to get rid of. But yes, we do have the Oklahoma City Thunder at number 2 for the love of the Emirates Cup championship. And at number 1, reigning, defending winners over the Oklahoma City Thunder going into the Emirates Cup and are probably going to dog walk the New York Knicks. Victor Wembanyama. This man might be absolutely unstoppable the way he can play on both sides of the ball. And how do you have to guard a guy like this? We saw the Oklahoma City Thunder try to guard him with another 7-footer like Chet. Couldn't do it. Try to guard him with guards to pester him. Couldn't do it. Put a guard in front of him. Put a center behind him to kind of, throw him off and not let him get to his spot. And he was getting to his spot. He was making the shot. He was hitting it under the rack. He was hitting it from the free throw line. He was hitting it from the three-point line. Victor Wembanyama, no matter how much we hate it, and I don't hate it, I think we have to get away from the narrative that an American has to be the face of the league. This is the face of the league. You are looking at him. He's an absolute freak of nature, and he might be, other than injury, be absolutely unstoppable. So the San Antonio Spurs move into our number one spot. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have been locked in with us this far, one last request, you can hit that subscribe button down below and let me know your predictions between the Knicks and the Spurs going into the Emirates Cup championship tomorrow night. It's going to be an absolute move. Y'all know I'm rocking the man, the myth, the legend, Victor Wembanyama, coming out and hanging another banner in San Antonio. Make sure y'all have a great day. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button.